Rangi o irirangi o Timike FM on 96.9 FM. Ngā mihi nui kia koutou e aria taringa mai e tēnei wā. E hoa ma, we bring all sorts of kaupapa to the table that is radio, I guess, and I'm definitely always interested in things that are about in subjects kaupapa that are about our well-being. If you've been following my radio career, you'll probably get that vibe as well. So I'm quite happy to be able to introduce my manuhiri, my guest in the studio today, Susan Birch. Hello, how are you?
I'm great, thank you, and thrilled to be here.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and your interests.
My interest in nutrition and exercise started probably about 40 years ago or so. I had a few kind of issues as a teenager and got into, I suppose, a bit of trouble, as teenagers do. And as I got into my 20s, I realised that I had quite a issue around addiction and possibly depression, and also my family had a real history of diabetes, heart disease and stroke. So I thought, well, it was probably time to take charge of my own life. I had a young family, I wanted to be a good mum, and so that's what got me started. And I've had 40 years of research, studying and learning about nutrition and trying to teach other people about nutrition.
I love it. Just to draw a parallel, I'm just sitting here thinking that adversity challenges are often the very things that cause some kind of creation of the resolve, and in your case it spurred you on to sort of delving deeper into health and nutrition and understanding that at that level. For me, as a mum of a boy who had super really bad chronic eczema, it led me to sort of pursue health and well-being in that regard, so I totally understand what you're saying. So let's just I guess go direct to the subject matter specifically.
Well, obesity and overweightness is a worldwide epidemic now. It's a real major problem. And a lot of the contribution to that has been the food guidelines and the kind of information we've been given about nutrition for the whole of my life anyway, for the last 50 or so years. And the kind of food that we're encouraged to eat, that the food guidelines promote, actually has a cascade effect of affecting our hormones, our gut, nutrient deficiencies, and all these things lead to us gaining weight. And the reason that we gain weight is because it's programmed into our genetics. So we're programmed genetically from 160, 180,000 years ago to get fat in certain conditions. And so now we have those conditions present 24/7. And so we are all around the world. It's not just pointing the finger at any one person. All around the world, people are really struggling with obesity and being overweight. And the reason why it's an issue isn't because being overweight matters, it's because depending where we put our fat increases our risk for chronic diseases. And so we see this huge increase in risk for cancer, for example, breast cancer in women, prostate cancer in men, infertility problems, polycystic ovary syndrome, things like that. And so when we store fat in centrally, that becomes a problem. If we store fat on our hips or thighs or butt, it doesn't matter.
Are we sort of talking about visceral fat?
Yeah, so we are.
Impacts our organs.
Absolutely,
yeah.
And the atopic fat that gets around all our organs, yes. And that's really toxic. So that kind of fat is really toxic, and it's sending out these toxic messages to us. But, everybody, so many people are trying really hard to eat healthy, what they think is healthy. They're trying really hard to exercise and do the right thing, and they throw their hands up and say, well, nothing I'm doing is working. So my online event is really to help explain why it's not working, from a sort of ancestral perspective and biochemistry perspective.